So hey, it's Keith, what's up? So, third attempt at this video. There's one that I did yesterday and it was like, I did it and I was going to put it up. I actually put it on YouTube, but I didn't make it public. So, if you want to see the first video I did, which I think I just like kind of babble constantly about yoga, which my life has really come to be defined about yoga, it's got me back into my body, which was a big thing with what I've done all my life it got me into like health food, being a health food freak. You know, I was a jock in high school. Had to work at that though, you know. I haven't really ever told too many people on here I was born crippled and I was a bullied kid and a very sort of I guess maybe kind of a little bit agoraphobic, which is fear of fear. That's why agoraphobia is like associated with somebody that's a shut-in. I definitely, like the first 11 or so years of my life, I really didn't want to go out of the house or stop watching TV because I was afraid of being bullied all the time. So, you know, when I became about 12 or something, I worked really hard on, you know, I started liking soccer a lot and worked really hard on that and became really obsessed with music and worked really hard on becoming, because I was a loner, I got really into music and started teaching myself different instruments, guitar, synthesizer. My life just really became all about, you know, and because of music I became vegetarian. I was really into the band. Yes, I eventually like kind of liked what a lot of my friends liked, some hard rock stuff. Then I got into Led Zeppelin for a little while, and then I just went straight into like Yes. And they were vegetarian at the time, and so what does a 13-year-old do? He copies what his heroic friends do, and that's what I did. I became vegetarian at full vegetarian by the time I was 14. And those were the things that defined me. And, I was like thinking there's like one word in this, because I've been doing a lot of music and thinking about music and just thinking about the things that are important to me. And a lot of times those things seem like there's no borders between them. And so, I was thinking like the way that I feel about my life is this element within like interesting music. It's called recapitulation. And I feel like where I am now of why 2017 is so great, it's recapitulation is a melody that reoccurs, and maybe it takes on slightly different variation, but it's basically the same melody. And so for me it's like my childlikeness has been reborn, which is why 2017 is so amazing to me. It's a recapitulation of a sort of a melody that made me really happy being a loner, because it's like what I do now. I have been doing, like I had like 4 relationships back to back from age 22 to about 43. Yeah, I guess so. And for a little while, it was about like maybe trying to find another relationship, and then I just like got more into the spiritual life of realizing that the final frontier is really to have the ultimate love affair with yourself, because if you don't have that, then you don't really know who you're attracting. So right now, this journey started in 2010 is when I divorced my partner, who's still my partner. I'm just not romantically involved with him anymore. And we're super, super close. And so I kind of have my cake and eat it too. That's like a thing that I'm really grateful for. I told Jason that this year. He goes, "Oh, that's the second time you've told me." Meaning that I get to be a monk and like pursue all these like things that have to do with like having a love affair with myself, but I have people that I care for, and they care about me. And there's not like all the sort of what I consider some of the downsides of like living with people, of where you can't pursue that like sort of alchemical gold, as it were. So let's shift this conversation. So 2017 was this culmination of a lot of stuff that started for me in 2010, really 2011. I saw my first psychic healer through Truth Calkins in 2010. Well, I saw psychic healers when I was in my 20s, but, you know, my age 30, interesting time. I think everybody like comes apart when they're like 30, and then by the time you're hitting 40, you're trying to put it like back together, and hopefully you don't become bitter, which I didn't. And yeah, so my spiritual journey just really got on with it in 2011 of this and that, and got more into like being serious about music. Eventually by 2013, being more serious about spirituality. Sort of dated a Buddhist person for a little while, kind of, or hung out with somebody, and and then I saw our angel healer Anthony in 2013, and that changed everything, because I was feeling like man, I just really want to bust through. And I felt like there was these like tethers, or this ceiling that kept me from like getting any better, and it was just good enough to like be above the sort of mediocrity of all the people that are around you, of where like, wow, I'm not like into like what everybody's into, but I can't seem to like really release myself. And yeah, this angel healer did all that. And so by 2015, and then we're gaining a lot of power. I'm getting more into astrology, and and it's I think it's the times also. I'm not going to give myself ultimate credit of just like the cosmos. I got really into astrology. The cosmos have been really opening up these sort of cosmic awesome waves for us to surf. And I guess if you're a person that's tuned in and is like has conditions in your life, there's a lot of change. And so 2017 was super great for me. I became really disciplined with how I ate, really disciplined with a lot of things about myself, really disciplined with my spiritual practice. The eclipse in summer 2016, super powerful. The eclipse in 2017, the great American eclipse, was even more powerful. My life is, I've had so many before and after moments, going clear back to 2008 when I first took Reishi. My life was before and after that point, and some other stuff along there. And then, when I saw Anthony Torres in 2013, my life was before and after him. And then, other psychic healers, my friend Julie, she's like big help, really tuned something into me where I couldn't meditate before. I just could not turn off my mind, so she was always there for me. But like I said, whatever it was, whatever that, a lot of like the stuff that Anthony does is removing these sort of like demons from you, like alien interferences, your own sort of self-created like sabotages. But a lot of it's like, it's interesting stuff, So, so the eclipse, all of a sudden I'm doing great things, like going on vacation with my parents in June of 2017, and I stay raw vegan the entire time in the worst conditions, of being around family that's like totally not raw vegan, and especially the kind of raw vegan I am, which is just not desserts. It's like sprouts and dehydrated food, and it's like this alien like hippie food, which I like. And and that's one thing I have to really certify. I really like old school West Coast like hippie food, sprouts, and like I'm not into the whole we're going to do like, burritos and hamburgers and stuff that's like we're trying to pretend like this is alien food. This is whole other thing. This is like what what I brought myself up on of like when I stepped out of society when I was in my 20s. Again, this is this recapitulation of like finding that melody in me that made me happy, which is the Sproutarian, the old school, late 70s stuff. Victoris Kulvinskas, Survival in the 21st Century, Ann Wigmore, Sprouting, yummy sauces that you make in the Vitamix, and being into superfoods and dehydrating foods and, making all these concoctions of where you're just making this food, but you're not trying to like do anything. And some people say, oh, it's all salads. And it's just, at some point you gotta not pay any attention. If you're really on your own mission, you just don't pay attention to what society is saying. So yeah, so I did that, and I was able to pack that all into an ice chest and go across the Midwest with my parents in a trailer and have a great time with them, and felt really good about that, of like realizing that I'm a very much, I'm like this crazy new age hippie musician, person that hauls around like, my parents are super, super normal. Like they're totally cool with me because I'm like, I'm their oldest son, and they're like proud of me. But I'm carrying around the Bhagavad Gita and these books on angels and magic, and I got my crystals that I'm sleeping in their trailer, and I'm putting crystals under my pillow, and hell, they don't care at this point, because it's just like, that's our son, and so that was so cool. And then the eclipse hit, and the energy was profound, and I was like, had been doing the whole year of just being that kind of raw vegan that I mentioned, of not really doing any Chinese herbs. I wasn't doing any, not in the slightest, just being focused on, the most extreme thing. Well, it's all extreme to some people, but to me, like just, juicing occasionally, I have to admit, juicing is not something that I could be doing a lot more steady. If there's one thing I could have a complaint about with my food base is so good. Still juicing though, I just like, I'm not really that tidy yet. Still an element. It has so much to do with my right brainness, and I think that's like definitely one of my New Year's resolutions, is to be super tidy. Super, super tidy. And so the juicing, I wasn't like doing any of that. But so the intensity of the eclipse like came, and I had to like break down, and I was knowing I need some kind of like really powerful Chinese herb. And so I bought 22 reishis from Dragon Herbs, and I bought a wild purple reishi, and I just took like 4 big dropperfuls of each one of those like 3 times a day, and then just had an amazing spiritual experience. And then just my usual affirmations, candles, writing list, writing on parchment paper, burning messages, pouring those, taking that burnt ash, mixing it up in water, pouring it into the ground outside in my front garden where I do all that stuff, and boom, boom, boom. 2 weeks later, I meet a new yoga teacher, and then she starts teaching me Ashtanga yoga, which up to that point I had just been doing, regular yoga with somebody super nice, but not really from a lineage or a focus thing, just like kind of creative yoga like you could go to in any gym. And, and I had my thing with yoga. I really didn't want to be a part of the sort of yoga scene that's going on, the sort of sexy yoga stuff. And I was like, I just knew that there was people out there that practice yoga where they're doing chanting and they're doing a lot of meditation, and they're not filtering it out like they do for the most part all over the US. Like you go to any yoga, it was even to a point where my teacher, even though she liked the whole Hindu practice, she would say like namaste, and then she would say that means like the good in me recognizes the good in you, which is bullshit. It means the God in me recognizes the God in you, because we're all God. And so anyways, so this lady Casey, she helped me get into Ashtanga, which is, when you do Ashtanga yoga, it's the same sequence all the time, and it's designed, and Ashtanga yoga's got like this whole mystical tradition with a lot of chanting, a lot of, you start the sequence chanting, and this is exactly what I was looking for. And it just started it was very alchemical, started pulling everything together and getting me more into my body. And then I worked with her for like 5 weeks. I think we started the Ashtanga practice like maybe August 20 or something like that. And so around October 1, she said to me, well, next Sunday I should take you down to meet my teacher, which is this guy, Scott Miller. And you can practice Ashtanga with a whole group of people. And I was like, wow, do you think I'm ready? Because I was really having a hard time with balance and strength. I'm super flexible, but it was just like, doing a proper triangle pose and, doing it the right way without like falling over or whatever was quite challenging. Still, I can do some advanced poses right now, and that one, which is Trikonasana, is still, the perfection of it eludes me, but once I break through with that, yeah. So that's a lot of what my other video that is in the drop down that I recorded yesterday, which is just a bunch of fucking babbling about yoga. And so we did the Sunday practice, and I was just like blown, all these people, like, you stand up in front of your mat and you're just like chanting to like the harmonium, and then you just go into the Ashtanga sequence, which is 1.5 hours to 2 hours long, depending on whether you do all the poses or you like edit it a little bit, and then you end up with chanting, and then you're just high as fuck. And then so me and the person I went to the class with, we went and had some tea at like, this is in downtown in the city, in downtown Riverside, which is, between Los Angeles and Palm Springs. It's like the city below where I live. And it's in this studio, and I was like, wow, I really like Scott. Like, he's so amazing. He's like the teacher there. And she goes, well, they're starting this weekend. They started the teacher training. She goes, I can tell he likes you. And I was like, she goes, you should go over right now and ask him if he'll let you into the school. I was like, no, I want to think about it. And so, I got up the next morning, and Casey had like messaged me Scott's number, and so I texted him right away, and he was like, I was expecting a text from you. He's kind of like intuitive, sort of psychic. He's not all blah blah about it, but you just know he knows stuff. And so next Wednesday, that was like the 8th of October, that Sunday, and so by the 9th, 10th, 11th, I was in a full-blown practice, going to yoga like that's the rest of 2017. That's till now. That's what I do. 9, 10, 11 yoga sessions a week. Like, just freaking kicking my butt, reinventing my body, reinventing everything about me. And then at this point, I've like started, it's just like I have to put like certain things on hold, because it's like I'm 54 and I want to be ageless. And I want to reach all my potential that I can with my body. And so, I have to bring together all the things I know. I have to like get together an affordable, which I just started doing, an affordable amount of Chinese tonic herbs that are going to complement my yoga practice, which I'm experimenting with right now. We'll talk about that in a separate video. I'm going to take MSM to like get all my connective tissue strong. And I'm already like making huge strides. Like Scott said, like, I wish I would have videotaped you, or like we could have like shown like what the real potential of yoga is. Because like I told you, I was born crippled, and I have a lot of like skeletal dysfunctions, scoliosis, stuff like that, and other things. And he said, I think your Ashtanga journey is going to be historic. And so I'd already been thinking like it was just like these things that are just stacking on top of each other that are telling me like, okay, man, you got to start taking, I just made a big order from Earthshift Products. I spent like $300. It's just like, fuck everything. Like, I'll pay my rent. I'll do what I have to do. But like, how many opportunities does a person get like to completely reinvent themselves, become ageless, between age 54 and 55 and make great strides, super great strides. People are recognizing. Casey, the person who took me to Scott, she said, I've never seen anybody move faster forward than you have in such a short time. And, Scott said the same thing. And so I just gotta do more. And that's what my life is about right now. So I think this is the right video I just made after 3 attempts. And so, like I said, in the drop down, there's a link to an unlisted video, which is the video that I made last night about me ranting. Some repeated stuff in here. It's just, I have a hard time making a video when I haven't made videos in a long time, especially when I'm reporting on a lot of stuff that I've been doing. So, got new music coming out. My yoga life probably is at this point, it's taking precedence in a way. I'm more creative. I sat down at my instruments and put together like 3 songs in like a couple days. And a lot of times my life right now is go to yoga in the morning, sometimes 2 sessions, one at 5 in the morning and then another one at 7, and then come home and eat, and then like take a nap right after that, and then kind of just it's like, because I'm reinventing my body. And so a lot of times this like eating raw food, it's like the basis of what I'm doing. But like today I did a double session of like early in the morning. This is Sunday practice, 7:30 in the morning, series 2, series 3 stuff, which I'm still like series 1. So it's only because I'm like making these fast breakthroughs that I'm actually able to like go in and do a lot of the series 2, series 3 stuff has to do with things that I'm already good at, which is flexibility, whereas a lot of the series 1 stuff is like kind of balance and strength, which are not my specialities. My specialities is in flexibility, but all those things are coming around. So like today, since I did this really intense double session, and plus I hiked yesterday, so I ate one, got home and had a raw vegan meal, usual sprouts, buckwheat, bunch of sprouts, Jerusalem artichokes, some dehydrator stuff, and then, super sauce in the Vitamix, just, salt, kelp, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, stuff like that. Coconut oil, lemon. Ate that, took a nap, and then I was just like, oh, I'm still depleted. And so I made a thing of quinoa in my slow cooker. That's, fallback meal when I feel like I'm not getting enough calories. It's like, I think I need another like 700, 800, 900 calories because, I can't. I've got to keep up my strength. And that happens from time to time. Sometimes it's 2-3 days in a row. And so that's my life right now. And I'm looking forward to 2018. We have a lot of like, I'll talk about this in another video. It's just like the world is changing. We're in the future. You can do whatever you want to do. And I think a big thing that for me is like, I think this video is kind of over. I'll talk more about some other stuff later. So, okay, so support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down. First link up is the one of the video I made ranting if you feel like watching more of my stuff. And then, links to my music and my bio. And I'll talk to you later. It's Keith. Bye-bye.